Well, you guys, it has officially been 3,000 miles with my turbocharged BRZ. With that said, today we are going to be doing a complete review on everything I wish I would have known beforehand and everything I've learned since turbocharging my BRZ at the 3,000 mile update. We are also going to be draining the oil in the car and inspecting the oil, cracking open the oil filter, checking it out, making sure there's no shiny substance within any of it, and pretty much breaking down the tuning process and everything that I've learned in the last probably 100 or so revisions realistically. It's been a long journey with tuning the car myself. Putting it together was the easy part. Tuning it afterwards, however, was another story. I wish I could go into every single detail on that. However, if I'm being honest, I don't remember every little thing. Okay guys, the wait is finally over. I know a bunch of you have been asking about it. I've been talking about it forever now. The BRZ turbo shirts are finally out there on the website, billybuilds.com. The link is down in the description below. We've got my BRZ with the Billy Built logo at the top, and at the bottom it says, factory forgot the turbo. I fixed it. So be sure to head over to the website and get yours while they're on sale. So let's get back into this video now. So if you guys didn't watch the video, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of my current setup on my turbocharged BRZ here. We have a Boost Lab BL54 XR Plus Turbo from my boys at Boost Lab. They are a local company. They build turbochargers, they rebuild turbochargers, but they do awesome work and they have awesome products. Anything you need for a turbo, go check them out. And I have a full-blown motorsports piping kit for the hot side as well as the cold side. As far as the oil fittings go, the water lines go, all of that has been custom for the most part. The oil feed line here is actually a JDL oil feed line. The coolant lines, however, are custom. We have this one here, which I run under the intake manifold, and this one here, which goes to the back. And in all honesty, I have not had a single leak from any single one of these lines. Now, I did have a little bit of an issue with my oil cooler in the front. However, that was my own fault, so I did have some leftover oil residue after everything was installed. Outside of tuning the car, this car has not had a single problem, which has been fantastic. That's really what I wanted. It is a daily driver. I need it to still be reliable. Do I want a little bit more power out of the car? Yeah, so a little bit more boost would be nice. It is still on the wastegate 7 PSI spring pressure. However, I am still on pump gas. I don't really want to have to worry about ethanol. E85 is in the future, but that's going to cause a lot more problems with the tune, so that's why I've been slow to getting around to that. I'm really trying to work out all of the flaws I have with it on pump gas before I induce a second fuel into the system and into the tuning process of it, because I'll probably put E85 in it when I feel like having a little bit extra fun with it. It's been great. And that even goes for my Pulsar 60mm blow-off valve as well as my 38mm wastegate. That's right. They're not turbo smart. They're not precision. They're not a super well-known brand. It is Pulsar. These are budget parts. They've been working flawlessly. I've not had any issues. There's been no boost leaks or anything of the sorts. Love every bit of it. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll probably see me post a random video here and there of this car just opening up wastegate, and it sounds fantastic. I love it. But with that said, let's go ahead and get the oil changed. I am at 3,000 miles, and this is going to be the very first oil change after the turbo install. So let's get this pulled in, up on stands, and start draining out the oil. You guys can really see, but oil does not look bad at all. 3,000 miles, 110,000 total on the motor. All right, so there's that. Can't forget to change the oil filter. I always like to drain it out the bottom first before taking the oil filter because, well, how I see it, it acts as kind of like a suction out of the oil filter. This is taking forever to come off. Oh, that's why. That's not supposed to happen. All right, well, that's what's gonna happen apparently. That's not right. Okay, so that is clearly one problem that I'm going to have to take care of here. All right. This is kind of aggravating because I didn't think that would happen like that. Okay, so one of the best things you can do to tell how your engine is wearing is to really break down the oil, send the oil off to get an oil analysis, and break down the oil filter. Now, I'm not going to be sending my oil off because, well, I think there's a lot of gray area there, and you can get some really mixed results when it really comes down to it. Everyone likes to use the same one. I know, I don't remember the name of it, pardon me. I've never actually sent my oil off to have it analyzed. However, I do like to periodically crack my oil filters open, so that's what we're going to be doing here. The oil filter wrench. These things are cheap. You can find them on Amazon for 10, 20 bucks. All it does is go on here, you tighten it down, and you spin it around. You got it upside down. And there you have it. In case you ever wondered what was inside a normal oil filter, it is, surprise, actually a cartridge filter. And this little guy is what filters your oil on your Subaru. In case you guys were wondering, there's not much filtration media right here. I'm going to dump this out before I make a large mess everywhere. Reposition you guys a little bit. So you can kind of see right there, there's a little bit of shrapnel in there. I'm not sure what that's from. It could be debris. I think it's just regular dirt from just outside influence. I mean, we do have fresh oil feed and oil drain lines in there, and a brand new oil pan, so there is a good chance that there is some sort of well, just dirt that was left over from when we put it together. Now let's go ahead and break down the filter media. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this little guy out of the middle. If you don't know, the oil actually filters from the outside to the inside. Let's go ahead and tear this apart. There's a little bit of RTV right there. Some more RTV right there. Wow, looks like we had some RTV get through. You guys can really go back and see the video if you want. I did not put a lot of RTV on that oil pan at all. I did it very light and then sandwiched it down. But yeah, all of this, there's like 2 chunks of RTV in here and that's it. I don't think that's very bad. There looks like a little bit of a metal shaving. I don't think it's anything to worry about. Overall, I think we're good. Oil filter gets the pass. Oil gets the pass. All this metal shaving, don't worry about that. That was there beforehand, I promise. And of course, brand new oil filter, pre-lubed. Now, I'm sure many of you are going to be wondering, Billy, what oil do you use now that your car is turbocharged? It's like a never-ending question. What changes in a motor when I turbocharge my engine? Well, honestly, not too much, except it does induce a little bit more heat, and with heat, the oil gets a little bit more viscous. So with that, I actually like to thicken my oil just a little bit, even though I do have an oil cooler, and it technically doesn't get any hotter. However, certain parts of the motor might get a little warmer than others, and it may not even be that much. This might even be overkill. I'm sure you could do perfectly fine with a 5W20 at only 7 PSI of boost. I like to run 5W30. The Supra, the 300ZX, I like to run VR1 20W50 in those because those are older motors and they do like a thicker weight with the high zinc. This zinc does tend to help quiet them up as well as the thicker oil, which also helps build the oil pressure, especially with the 7M. The 7M has naturally low oil pressure, and that is what's in the Supra, if you didn't know. And we really need that higher oil pressure from that thicker weight oil. However, with this car here, because they recommend 0W20, 5W20 from the factory, that basically means that the tolerances from the motor out of the box, from the factory, are much tighter than probably anything from this era, being the 90s. So with that said, I don't want to run anything too thick on it, which is why I like to stick with a 5-weight 30 or a 5-weight 20. I've always ran Mobil 1 520 in this car while it was NA, and I think I'm going to be running 5W30 a lot more often now that the car is turbocharged. I might switch over to a 5W20 once it gets back to the cooler months. However, we're in Florida, and it's like 100 degrees in here right now, so this is what we're doing. turbo kit, I'd usually keep the RPMs between 3 and 5,000 RPM, which is pretty much perfect for this turbo because that's right where this turbo wants to spool up. Now, you're probably asking, but Billy, is the torque dip still there? Yes and no. The turbo kind of counteracts the torque dip. Because this one's a little on the larger side, it does start to really kick in right where the torque dip happens. All right, so if you look here, this is all my gauges. I got intake temp, boost, PSI, and air fuel mixture right here. That's pretty much all you need to know. Yeah, guys, she's running really good. I am super happy with this thing. Air fuels are pretty much dialed in 100%. It does have a little bit of a hiccup, I will say, in the tune. And it happens right around 0.8 bar at moderate throttle around 3,000 RPM. I don't know what it is. The same thing happened in my buddy's car, I remember, when they were tuning that. And I don't know what Zach at Counter Space Garage did, but he was able to tune it out. And I think it was just a little tweak in the fuel map. I played around with that area a lot, and that's part of why I'm on like 100 revisions of the tune in this car, because it's really difficult to get down to a science. Tuning one of these is not something that I would recommend anybody starting out with. Maybe you can do it NA and play around with that, but do that for a while. Let me see if I can get it to act up here. So right around 80, you'll see it start to lean out and then go super rich. See it bounce around. There it is. Doing all sorts of funky stuff. It does not like that whole 0.8 to 0.9 bar of range, load range. Something about it it's just not happy with. I have been working on it. I've gotten it as good as I possibly can. The only thing I can think of is that it's something to do with the smoothing and the crossover from one table to another. And if you're curious at all, this up here is actually my long-term fuel trim, and then a green bar at the top is actually my advanced multiplier for my ignition. So long-term fuel trim right now, oh, it's actually really low. There is one point in this map that I need to work on, but as soon as I give it a little bit of gas, it goes right back up where it needs to be. The setup for my tune here is open the closed loop, and then we have MAF scaling to speed density for the fueling, and then there's also the direct injection to port injection. Now, I've adjusted all of this based on what the EcuTek tuning website pages has recommended. One more thing that I'll recommend for anybody else who's probably gonna have their car in a hot climate, I definitely recommend using a larger oil cooler than what I chose, because my oil temps, I'm going to show you right here, right now they're good, but on my commute to work they'll get to about 215-ish and kind of chill out there on my way home. I will say though, it has been like 95 degrees with 100% humidity lately, which is freaking cooking. So coming out to the car, when I first turn it on, my intake air temps are already at like 110 degrees. For the engine oil temps, I think in this weather, it definitely needs a larger oil cooler. And that's even with a 195 degree thermostat. So the other end of this is, well, yeah, I could get a cooler thermostat, but I like to keep my oil temps right around that 200 degree to 210 degree mark. Once they start climbing above 215, 220, I kind of start getting a little nervous. Sounds great. Curious about what my fuel mileage is like, I'm still getting almost 24 miles to the gallon. So even though I'm still tuning the car, fuel mileage is not too bad. I was getting almost 27 miles per gallon when the car was NA. However, we are running it quite a bit richer now with the turbocharger, and just with all the extra heat in the motor, definitely like to run it a little bit fatter. But considering I'm still getting 23.9, 24, realistically, I think if I drove this car normally, I could get still 25, 26 miles per gallon. Got some nice blow-off valve sounds and turbo whistling going on there. This thing is such a joy to drive, you guys. We've all heard it for about 10 years now. I don't think that you could find another car in this price range and have this much fun with it nowadays. I mean, even the Toyota Corolla GRs are like $40,000, $30,000. Civic Type Rs, what are they now? $35,000, $40,000? I mean, you can find them used, I'm sure, but man. And another thing that I'm going to mention here, the car, I mean, I feel like they all are, but at low RPM, these cars, this car, it's very jerky. It's very difficult to drive smoothly. I play this game when I'm driving the car that I try to drive it as smooth as possible, not necessarily as fast as possible. I know I can't be the only one here. I mean, you guys have got to relate to me on this. Boost is good. Everyone needs a boosted car. Look, if you're a car guy and you got boring daily, I totally get it though, because we kind of need that to just be reliable and to keep us uninterested in modifying it. But at the same time, having a fun daily is way cooler. It's just a little bit more risky. Oh man, why do I do this to myself? Well, you guys, I hope this answered some of y'all's questions. I mean, I don't expect every car to be perfect. I don't expect every build to be perfect. But I hope I'm just trying to make a point here that you can turbo your daily driven BRZ, and I've heard plenty of people that have done it and they're perfectly fine after that. Just drive it like a normal car. It's been a good car for me. Really good. One of these days, I'll probably throw an IAG short block in it, in all honesty. Like, I don't see myself building one of these blocks like I do my Honda or Nissan, or even the Supra. I would definitely build the Supra motor myself, but I don't think that's needed for this. But in the near future, hopefully not too near, we will do the IAG Stage 2 block for this, and maybe then I'll be able to turn the boost up, really wake this thing up. I'm gonna go inside, enjoy some time with the family, and if you guys haven't, I appreciate you watching this, but you should probably do the same. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.